Let's welcome our Gala's keynote speaker. In fact, Marine Corps veteran Bill graduated from K9s For Warriors in 2022, and he's got with him tonight his service dog, Link. Let's welcome him up to the stage, y'all.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bill Lins, and this is my service animal, Link. Please let me say how truly honored I am to be standing before you here tonight at the K9s For Warriors annual gala. Tonight is a night to celebrate healing, transformation, and the unbreakable bond between veterans and their service dogs. While I am humbled to share my story, it is important to remember that this is not just my journey. It is the journey of so many veterans who have found hope and healing through this incredible program. It is also an opportunity to recognize the intelligence, loyalty, resiliency of these amazing animals, many of whom have overcome their own often difficult beginnings to allow them to rescue a veteran and improve the lives of everyone they touch. When I received the phone call asking if I would be able to attend tonight's evening and speak about my experience, I was instantly anxious and nervous, a feeling that I have become very accustomed to in so many aspects of life. I thought back to last year with Chris and Fowler, or the previous year with Joe and Eagle, thinking that they had done amazing. What would I be able to offer that had not been already said? That is when Jess suggested I use the opportunity to talk about Link's story and how his life changed along with mine. At that moment, talking about Link and how wonderful he was seemed far easier than discussing some of my most vulnerable moments. As I began writing, I found that while I feel I can articulate my thoughts in fairly clear and eloquently, I lack the vocabulary and perhaps the words I was looking for. Do not exist to capture how truly amazing Link is. Still, I am here, willing to try, not only because he deserves the credit for the transformation in my life, but also he threatened to take away my +1 status if I couldn't pull this off. As I prepared for this trip, I found out very unexpectedly on Tuesday that my uncle had passed away. The K9s For Warriors staff rallied around me along, K9s For Warriors staff rallied around me through this and several other previous challenges and accomplishments in my life. I am here today because of this connection and support. I need and want to be here. Not only has Link become a major part of my family, but so too has the K9s For Warriors. For me, my journey began with service. While I never intended on entering the military, on June 29th of 2004, my life was changed forever when a high school friend was killed in action by an IED in Iraq, the first of many. Following his funeral service, I enlisted in the United States Marine Corps, hoping to fulfill whatever his vision was, possibly seeking revenge, vengeance, making things right. Even having these ambitions, I never realized what I was getting myself into, and that the things I had hoped to accomplish were impossible. After enlisting, attending boot camp, completing infantry school, I was sent to my unit and mobilized to deploy to Ramadi, Iraq within the first year. I was excited and anxious about the opportunity, but had no real understanding of what my experiences would be like and what cost they would have. During my deployment to Iraq, I was injured and required multiple surgeries following the deployment. After 3 surgeries and a little over a year of recovery, I was cleared for full duty, and my unit was assigned to deploy to Afghanistan. In preparation for this deployment, I had started to notice some changes that had been occurring. I wasn't completely sure what was happening inside of me, but I decided it was my duty to protect my Marines because I felt that things were already too late for myself. I don't think this was really something that was possible, similar to the grand ideas I had of carrying on for my high school friend. But I wasn't necessarily seeing things clearly at that point, though I could not realize until much later looking back on these experiences. When I had finally returned home, I came back a different person, changed by the things I had seen, by the battles I had fought, and by the invisible scars I was carrying. I returned home not knowing how to deal with what I had experienced, and I found myself struggling with depression, anxiety, alcoholism, and a sense of isolation from pushing everyone away from me to hide my own shame. I felt disconnected from everything and everyone, like I did not belong in this world anymore. When you have spent as much time fighting, when that becomes your reality, returning to civilian life can feel like an impossible task. The emotions that used to come naturally, joy, hope, excitement, seem to disappear. In their place, there was numbness, and then there was anger. Anger at the world, anger at myself, anger at the way things had turned out. And in the silence, I began to miss something that I could not even put into words. I missed myself. While this feels obvious to me at this point, I could not see this until years later. The thing that made me feel intense guilt and shame had much less to do with my service, and I felt like it was mostly present in my ability to be a parent. I've always wanted to be a parent. I wanted to share the world and my experiences with my children. I realized that this was something I was no longer able to do. There were so many challenges in trying to live a normal life, but the one that hurt the worst was noticing that I had a complete lack of a feeling for love for my children. I logically knew how important they were to me and how much I cared about them. I knew I loved them, but I was so disconnected I could not feel it. I tried doing anything possible to avoid this guilt and shame. It was a feeling that I could not run away from. It was at this time I was completely hopeless and helpless. I was so lost that I finally tried to open up to someone close to me about what was going on. I told this person about probably the worst day of my life. This person used the story to create more guilt and shame for me and suggested that the only thing I could ever do to benefit my family was allow them to receive my SGLI benefits, which is my life insurance policy. It was at this time I was in a VA program at the Baltimore VA. I had made some friends that were going through similar experiences as I was. One individual, Brian, and I seemed to get along pretty well. We were both in a very similar place in life. One day, Brian came to the hospital, and he had a different step to him. He had light in his eyes, and he seemed like he was able to just breathe and exist. It was because he was walking around with his new friend, Chauncey. I saw something in Brian that I didn't believe that was possible. I saw hope. After meeting with my provider, she provided a recommendation for the same program that Brian had used, and I was awarded a grant to be paired with a service animal through a program in Maryland. The private trainer took the grant money, and I never saw them again. It was at this time that I received a phone call from someone from K9s For Warriors. I don't know how they found me, but they found me. I don't think I was actively looking for them. They called me and found me. That phone call turned into multiple phone calls. They did not stop calling. It was not just about filling out forms or completing paperwork, doing interviews. It was just, hey, how are you doing? What can we do for you? How are things? This was the one phone call I consistently answered because it was someone that was anonymous to me. I didn't feel the same shame as everyone else in my life. And they never stopped. They still haven't stopped. My wait to be paired with Link was long. It was about 3.5 years before we were going to be paired, and COVID delayed that even further. K9s For Warriors were the only people that I could not run away from, I could not hide from, the only people that cared about me when I couldn't care about myself, and made sure that I knew that. When I was finally matched with Link, my service dog, I'm not sure what I thought was going to happen, how things were going to change. I'm not sure what I was looking for when I walked through those doors. But I know now that I was looking for a way to get back to myself. I didn't want just a dog. I needed someone to help me find my way out of the darkness. Link was not just a dog. He was my partner. He was my guide. He was the first step in reclaiming my life. He was allowing me to thrive and not merely just exist. Link had a difficult past as well before coming to K9s. Link was saved by K9s For Warriors the same way that he saved me. He was procured from a shelter in Georgia about 7 months before him and I were paired. I was told that, and I've seen pictures from when he was found. He was about 29 pounds. What are you doing? Eating something. He's about 72 pounds now. He was missing significant amounts of fur. He had 6 types of worms, and he had a disease that dogs don't even get. He was afraid of everything. It was only through the love and dedication of the K9s For Warriors staff that he was able to find himself and change the direction of his life to be where he is now. K9s For Warriors helped him find himself, find his purpose, allow him to love and to be loved, allowed him to trust, and allowed him to develop confidence in himself. When I first met Link, I'll be honest, I didn't think much would change. I was not sure how a dog could make a difference in my life when I was already so far removed from the person I used to be. But Link was not there just to keep me company. He was there to help me reconnect with my emotions and teach me how to feel again. He started this on the day we met. Coming to Florida from Maryland, I was afraid to fly, so I drove about an 18-hour car ride by myself. I think every mile that I drove down the highway, I thought of a new reason to turn around. I arrived early enough that I sat across the street from K9s For Warriors at the driving range and just watched the campus for about 6 hours before coming across the street. I tried to get an idea of what was going on. The K9s For Warriors campus is truly a remarkable place. It stands out to me for many reasons. I'm not sure that I've ever been to a place in life where I have felt as instantly safe as I did on the K9s For Warriors campus. And safe is not a word I use very often. I feel like this is something that was said by many of the warriors that were on campus with me and others I've talked to since then. They have meticulously taken care of every detail to make it so that we can thrive in that environment, and all we have to worry about is the task at hand. It allows us to function in a way that has been removed from so many of us for so long, and it feels comfortable, it feels safe. After arriving on the K9s For Warriors campus, I think I went about the first week without talking. That is no longer the case. The day that stands out for me was Dog Day, as we heard about earlier. On Dog Day, we met with our trainers and did one more quick interview to make sure that we were going to be a good pair, a good fit for our dogs. Something happened in this conversation that probably nobody noticed except for me. I was speaking with his trainer, Hannah, and she told me in this that she thought we would be a great pair and that he is the favorite dog that she has ever trained. And some may not see the significance of that, or think it's a compliment to Link that he's such a wonderful dog, but to me, she was saying to me that I was worth something, that I was good enough or deserving and worthy to have something that was the best that she had to offer. Before that conversation, I would have had a lengthy list of things that I deserved, and I don't think one of them would have been positive. And she changed that for me. The second detail was my mother had given me grief that I was going to have a poodle. And as a single father with 2 daughters and a lot of struggles with trying to do their hair, it would not have been a great mix. And I did not always have hair like this. So that's a little bit of a different change as well. But I was beyond thrilled when he came out as a gorgeous silver and white lab mix. The other part of this day that stands out for me is that after each warrior was paired, we were told to go and just bond with our dogs. I took Link out to the pool area, where he instantly had the zoomies and was blasting around the pool at 1,000,000 miles an hour. He runs in a very unique way, and very much like myself, not very graceful. He ran into things, fell over things, and fell into the pool. I knew we were gonna be a great pair right then. Watching him enjoy life and be so carefree let me drop my guard and smile, and I even led to laughter. This was real laughter, not the fake laughter that I used to blend in or mask around others. I don't know how long it had been before I had really laughed. It was so foreign to me that I stopped myself and my internal dialogue said, kind of, what are you doing? And this was in the first hour of us meeting. This is a credit to Link and another amazing aspect of the K9s For Warriors. As I said, with the meticulous care that they put, the instant safety, you didn't worry about what you were doing. You just were able to exist, which is something that I had not done for a very long time. Following combat, I lived in a numb space where if I did feel something, it was often anger or frustration. But Link gave me something different. Slowly, day by day, I started to experience emotions that I thought I had lost. Emotions like joy, peace, and even love. Link did not just walk beside me. He helped me to reconnect to life itself. I remember a moment not too long ago when I was remembering a friend on the anniversary of his passing. I was thinking about how I had felt for so long, how I missed not only my friend, but a part of myself too. And it struck me when I realized that not only had I been avoiding mourning for my friends, but also avoiding acknowledging I had lost a part of myself. But as I spent more time with Link, I realized that I was no longer missing myself. I had begun to find myself again. Link helped me feel a renewed sense of purpose, a purpose I had not felt in years. Through him, I rediscovered what it meant to live with intention, to set goals, to take charge of life again. Link did not just save me from a life of isolation. He gave me the strength to keep moving forward. And that is what K9s For Warriors does. It gives veterans like me the tools to heal, to find purpose, and to regain control of our lives. Link helped me do that, and he continues to be my constant companion, my reminder that no matter how dark things may seem, there's always a way forward. What Link has done for me and what K9s For Warriors does for veteran is nothing short of miraculous. But it's not just about the service dog. It's about the partnership, the healing, and the strength that comes from the support we receive and the love we give. I stand before you tonight not as someone who has it all figured out, but as someone who has learned that there is always hope and there is always healing. And in that healing, we find ourselves again. We find our sense of purpose, our joy, and the ability to feel again. So I want to thank K9s For Warriors from the bottom of my heart for giving me the opportunity to change my life, for helping me find my way back to myself, and for providing me the tools and support that so many of us veterans need. I also want to thank my amazing companion, Link, for being by my side through it all, allowing me to be the father that I wanted to be, for continuing my journey and helping others overcome their own mental health issues as a mental health therapist, coaching young athletes, and sharing a passion of sports and connecting with young people. To every veteran here tonight, to every service dog, and to all those who support us, thank you. You inspire me every day, and together we continue to show the world that healing is possible. Thank you.